on your sheet, there's a big old star in the top. So I want you to notice that and pay attention to it. It says that congruent polygons have congruent corresponding sides and angles. All the corresponding sides have to be congruent. All the corresponding angles have to be congruent. And the most important thing to remember is that when you name them, you must list the corresponding vertices in order. Okay? So when you decide to name a polygon, the first one that you name, the order doesn't matter so much, but the second one is really important that you name it correctly. Okay? So we have two polygons here, and because of the way that the projector skews things, they don't necessarily look congruent. On your sheet, they should look congruent though. So when we want to name these two polygons, how should we name the first one? BADC? Everybody okay with that? BADC? Or ABCD? Okay, alphabetically is how most people like to name things, right? So we are going to name the first one, the blue one, polygon A, B, C, D. But it is crucial when we name our second polygon, when we're making a congruent statement, that we do it in the correct order. So we have to look. Does everyone see that angle A is 124.4, and that's equal to which angle? R, because it's 124.4, right? So when we list A first, we have to list R first. Okay? Angle B, which one is it congruent to on the purple polygon? S, because S also has a measure of 90.3. Angle C is congruent to which one? T, because they both have a measure of 79.1. And angle D is congruent to, it's supposed to be a U, it got cut off. Okay? So it's really important that you name them appropriately and correctly. Okay? The first one that you write down, you can do alphabetically or any way you want to, but then you have to go back to the second one and be careful to get the right vertices in order. Okay? So that's our naming scheme. Now, we want to know what are the congruent angles. So which angles are congruent to which? So if you've done this work and you've done it well, you can save yourself a whole lot of time, because you don't have to go back and wonder, okay, now where do I start here? If I start with A, that one goes with R, and then I have to go back here and find something else, right? But watch what happens. Because you listed A first, and it corresponds to R, you can say angle A congruent to angle R. Since you listed B second, B has to be congruent to S, because angles B and S were both listed second. See how that saves you time? And then C has to be congruent to angle T. And then angle D has to be U. Okay? So for one problem only, we're going to ask you to name the congruent polygons and then list all the congruent angles and all the congruent sides. We won't have you do it over and over and over again. One time is enough on your assignment. Okay? It is time consuming. But we want to make sure you understand the concepts, and then we're good. We keep going. So the next one then is that we have to list the congruent sides. So again, we could go here and we could say, well, let's see, this one's 2.6 and this one's 2.6, right? And I could list them. But let me show you the shortcut. The faster way says, look here and say, guess what? Segment AB is going to be congruent to segment RS because they were both listed first. Okay? So don't forget your segment mark. And segment AB was congruent to segment RS. Segment BC, the two middle vertices, right, is going to be congruent to what, Tommy? BC is congruent to ST. And if someone says TS, that's okay. Okay? Okay? Then next, got a message for some reason. Do the other two. CD is going to be congruent to what? So CD and TU. And then finally, we've got to come up with one more statement. DA or AD, and that's going to be congruent to RU or UR. Okay? So you should have 4 sets of congruent statements. Okay? We're not doing proofs today. Okay? We're not doing proofs today. There will be some this chapter. And this is the last of them. Then once we're finished with semester 1, no more proofs.
That's like 20 more days.
Okay? All right, here we go. So, I want to see if you know how to do this now. I would like you to write a congruent statement for these 2 triangles. You don't have to do all the sides and angles, just for the 2 triangles. Put it away. Put it away. Okay, congruent statement for the 2 triangles. Down in this in the box. So we did CD, now the last 2 would be AD and RU. I have to wrap around. I'm sorry. So a congruent statement for the triangles, just like we did at the top with the polygon congruent statements, we're going to do the same thing. We don't have to do all the angles and all the sides, just the congruent statements for the side for the two triangles. Okay. So I'm looking for something that looks like this. Okay. But you get to use a symbol. We have a triangle symbol. Triangle what is congruent to triangle what? Okay. So how do we want to name our first triangle? ABC. I like it. It's alphabetical. Okay. Triangle ABC. Now, when we label it triangle ABC, that means that we have to be careful with the next one, because there won't always be alphabetical. Okay? Angle A is congruent to which angle? N, so we have to list N first. Ariana, angle B is congruent to which angle? I like it, but let's just do a single letter since we don't have to name them all. So B has just two arcs, so which one is it congruent to? Okay, does that make sense? Okay. And Chloe, which one is C congruent to? M. Okay. Now, if somebody else had said triangle BCA, we can change the order up, right? But if they started with B and went to C and then to A, we have to start with what, Natalie? B is equivalent to which one? L. C is equivalent to M, and A is equivalent to, so L, M, N. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Everybody good? I would usually start alphabetically. Okay, I would usually start alphabetically, but you don't have to. Okay, so when I look at these and grade them, I have to decide how does mine compare to yours. Okay, and as long as you get the equivalent angle, the vertices, then we're good. Okay.
So the bottom one is just a different way to say it?
Yep, the bottom one's just a different way to say it. And we could have started with CBA. and had a different the equivalent statement in the other one. Okay? All right. So with this particular one, I did not give you an equivalent statement that I should have at the start. Okay? This should say polygon HIJK is congruent to polygon RSTQ. HIJK RSTQ. Because by giving you just angles measures, that's not enough. I need to tell you that the sides are also congruent. Because we learned last chapter that dilations make similar figures. They don't necessarily make congruent figures. So one could be larger but the same shape. So we're trying to find x and we're trying to find y. Does everyone see that 2x minus 3 is segment HI? Okay. So which segment is equivalent to HI? So we want to set 2x minus 3 equal to which one? I know it's not. They don't look good on the projector. They should be right on your paper. So HI should be equivalent to RS. It's been twisted. Okay. It's a rotation. Okay. So it should be equal to RS, and the distance between R and S is 6. Absolutely. Okay. So because H and I was listed first, and we're targeting X right now, we're trying to figure out what is X. We check to see what is that segment equivalent to on the other polygon. And RS are the first two. So we want to set 2x minus 3 equal to 6. Now we've got an equation, we're going to solve it. Yep, this segment, because they're the first two listed, is the same as that segment. Yep, so we set them equal. Okay, and I would agree. Because when we take the 3 to the other side, we add it, and 2x equals 9, so x is 4.5. Good. Okay, next one. Now we want to know what's y. And y is part of angle T. So angle T is equivalent to which one? Angle J. Absolutely. 3y minus 7 is 122. So we add 7 to both sides. And we get 3y is equal to 129. And we divide by 3. And we get y is equal to what? It goes into 12. 43. Okay, so y is 43. Now we checked. We didn't want to stop short. Did they just ask us for x and y? Yes, we get to stop. Okay? All right, now I'm working on this. Sorry. Okay? All right, here we go. We got people wanting to do their homework and ask questions on the homework, so let's keep moving. Okay? Okay? This one was congruent to this one. The arcs mean different things. That's a good question. When you have a single arc, that means that this one and this one are congruent. Double arcs mean 2. These two are congruent. And then triple arcs mean the 2 with triple arcs are the same. And then we ran out of arcs, so we used a hash. Okay? Great question. Okay? So we just basically they're telling us which ones are equal, so we can write our equation. Okay? All right, next one. Now we're in the bottom where it has the 2 triangles. And it says if two angles of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles of another triangle, then the thirds have to be congruent to each other. Okay, because we only have 180 degrees to deal with, right? So if two of them add up to something, 180 minus that something is going to be the same as 180 minus the same thing. Okay? So those two triangles have equivalent angles. Does everyone see that tick mark, that rounded arc? Okay, that means that angle A and angle R are equal. So this one will be 52. And then Joey has noticed that he has 90 degrees. So if 90 degrees is taken up by the right angle, 90 minus 52 will get our other angle. So 90 minus 52 is 38 degrees. No. Nope, just tell me why. Right. We're not going to do a big long proof. Okay? Okay, so because this was 52, angle A is congruent to angle R. They have the same tick mark. 38. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be. You bet. Okay? Shh, guys, please. Shh. Okay? We have two right triangles, 90 degrees on two of them. Okay? That means that if this is 52 and it has a single arc, angle R also has to be 52 with a single arc. Okay? So if there's 90 degrees used up, that leaves 90 left for the other two, for 180 total. So 90 minus the 52 gives me a 38, and B is also 38. Okay? All right, now we've been having rumblings of proofs, right? We're not doing a proof for this particular section of this chapter, but I want to show you what it looks like. Okay? And first, before that, I want to just tell you that reflexive, symmetric, and transitive hold for triangles too. So triangle ABC is going to be congruent to itself. That's reflexive like a mirror. And triangle ABC, if it's congruent to triangle DEF, then triangle DEF will be congruent to triangle ABC. We can switch the order of the congruent sign. Okay? And finally, if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF and DEF is congruent to triangle JKL, we can get rid of all the DEF in the middle and just say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle JKL, just like we did before with transitive. Okay. All right, so can we say that these two triangles are congruent? Why? Because of the tick mark. So you're saying that AB is congruent to ED because of ticks. What else? BC is 4, and so is DC, or CD, okay? And it doesn't matter which way we write them. AC, both equal 6, right? So we got the sides, almost there, it's halfway there. We got to get the angles too. Okay? Which angles are congruent? B is congruent to angle D, because they got the double ticks, right? Because of the ticks, right? Because they're what kind of angles? Vertical. So yes, they are congruent. Okay? Make sense? A lot of writing in a very short period of time. Okay? Your assignment's on your yellow or your blue sheet. Okay? So if you want to jot these down, that's great. But we got all the sides, all the angles congruent. That means the triangles are congruent. Okay? So assignments on your blue sheet. Coming up here too. Okay, give me a second. Let me stop.